loop. Thanks very much. Thanks so much. How kind. How utterly pathetic playing my own applause. I burnt my lip. Classic self-sabotage. Why not? I burnt my lip. Hello, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Series 4 of Not Today, Thank You. We're live on YouTube. If you're listening to this as a regular podcast, then obviously there's no point going to YouTube because it's been done. That's the linearity of time for you kids. Classic self-sabotage. I look like I've stapled a couple of button mushrooms to my lips. I was deep frying some seitan yesterday, and I had one fork to drop it in, and then one fork to fish it out, and then I confused the forks and put the one that was the temperature of boiling oil into my mouth. It's good char, great char. Hello, welcome along. It's lovely to have you here. So much to tell you about in terms of how this is all going to work. It's a complete revamp. Not only are we live on YouTube, but there's almost format points here. Jem and Rick, good morning to you watching the live stream. Rick says, morning, Jake, morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. And Jem says, good morning. My fellow apostles, lovely to have you here. So there's sort of almost kind of format now. So Fridays remain the same. Fridays are Davy days, and how wonderful they are. And you can't watch that live on YouTube, but patrons, they can watch that. But Monday to Thursday, we're sort of changing it up a little bit. The way it's going to work is on Mondays, we might have a guest, we might have a quiz. I mean, we'll have all the old stuff as well. Don't worry, they'll still be the same random inarticulate gubbins, but you're trying to inject some content. And then Tuesday to Thursday, there's like a sort of a brief, there's like an arc to the week. So on Tuesday, we decide what's going to be the subject of this week's kind of mini musical. That sounds ominous, doesn't it? Sounds terrible. But I think it's going to work. And it could be, a current affair, something zeitgeisty, something cultural. And I use that term very, very loosely. On Wednesday, we'll workshop it together. And then on Thursday, I'll deliver the finished musical. That's how it's going to work. That's the thing. But there's so many things going on. For example, we've now got a phone number, and you can leave like a voicemail on WhatsApp if you want. I've done a jingle and everything. You can WhatsApp Jake, on 07862 032 654. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It'd be lovely to have something from you. Now, I believe my guest is here, Mike Wright. Are you there?
Hello, I am here.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love that the first time I've actually ever spoken to you is doing this. That's a nice cavalier approach. And you're starting your morning with a can of, is that Monster?
Yeah, I don't drink coffee, and I'm feeling somewhat low energy today. So yes, it is. It's Monster Pacific Punch,
Nice.
Which I'm led to believe includes inositol and B vitamins.
I honestly,
I don't know what inositol is.
I'm a real inositaholic. I need to hit some of that because I can't do hot drinks right now.
Because of your disgusting lips.
It's thank you very much.
It's just I saw the promotional video you put out, and it started with a close up of the lips, and I was like, "Oh, this is bleak."
Yeah, it's really bad.
What were you cooking? It sounded like you said Satan.
Yes, yeah, I roasted him.
Okay.
I was cooking. Yeah, it's seitan. It's
Okay.
It's a vegan sort of kink. It's very high protein flour.
Okay.
And you mix it up with some stock, and it coagulates fast into a kind of. It looks like sort of. Was it the Blobs? What was that? There was like a B movie with the blobs. It came from the blobs or something. I don't know. Alien blobs from Mars or something. It was like, what's the cheapest alien we could create? It would be that. And
nice.
then and then you boil it for an hour, and then you can do what you like. You can roast it, you can fry it. You just abuse it, and then you tell yourself it's as good as bacon. With mixed results. So that's what I did. Anyway, hey, welcome to the podcast. It's really exciting to have you here. I am a big fan of your stuff, and your output is quite prolific. Tell everyone what you do, because I don't think I'm gonna explain it very well.
I write a newsletter called Conquest of the Useless, which is 7 days a week. It's a media criticism newsletter, so it covers all aspects. Usually of the British press. I should cover other press a bit more, but frankly, stuff like New York Times, there's often interesting stories around, but it's very boring to write about, because it's a very boring newspaper, very boring headlines. Whereas British tabloids are quite entertaining.
It's that thing I've had. Other times in my life, I find it quite hard to make things about things that are good. Like if they're good, it's really hard. If they're bad, it's just really fun.
I do try to. So I do. My newsletter is free, but then there's a paid option, and with the paid option you get some extra stuff. And one of the extra things is a Saturday email, which features like articles that I've read in the week that are actually good. Because I don't being a journalist and ripping apart journalism all the time, I do think sometimes maybe I give the impression that I think all journalism is awful, and that's not the case. No, it's just I tend to focus on the bad stuff. So I do that every day, and that comes out usually before 8 a.m. So I'm usually up about 5:30ish to write that.
Wow. And
then I break down the newspapers through color coding. If people can see it, I don't know if people can see me, but
I love that.
I do. So green is largely factual. Pink is kind of like newspaperism, or kind of like hysterical phrasing or tabloidism. Yellow is for briefings or from either anonymous,
just regurgitated stuff. Yeah.
And orange is a statement or a bit of opinion, and blue is just what you'd call when I was working in magazines, page furniture or promo. So page furniture, like the masthead or in the news or whatever. So yeah, I have a pile of these here, and my house is full of newspapers, which is it's like being in a cursed library at all times.
But you've really nailed and good morning to your associate there. You've mastered the backdrop. Your backdrop is lovely, whereas mine, I do look like Mr. Trebuchet. What was his name? Do you remember the hoarder guy?
I do, but I can't. Yeah, I can't. The name is not coming to me. This is just this narrow backdrop, but there's also this chaos on either side. You see, so
because you do a Twitch thing, don't you? Is it at 1 o'clock?
I do, 1 o'clock every day. Every weekday. It's called the paper thing, and we go through 2 or 3 papers a day, and then sometimes we do magazine specials. Sometimes even of like very old magazines. The other day we did this one from the 60s, which is like a 60s gossip magazine.
Amazing.
Off the record secrets, which is pretty salacious stuff. So yeah, that is what I do.
Well, I'm a big fan. I am a subscriber, and you have been up since 5:30 then, which is...
Yes, this is why the Monster Energy is required.
No kidding, seriously. You must be ready for cocktails by now.
Yeah, it does. I quite often sort of want to have my lunch at about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the morning, but
it's
fine.
I'm not going to lie to you. I had a coffee last Friday morning, and it just felt right to slide in just a little Malibu and a touch of dark rum.
Nice.
I'm not going to lie. It was 9:30 in the morning, and I'm not going to make a habit of it, but I had a great time. It was like being in a resort, on holiday, where you're allowed to do that sort of thing. No one judges you.
Yeah, or like an airport or a train.
Airport, you're right. Airport drinking, 7 a.m.
I feel like trains is somehow allowed as well. Like
trains are allowed, but I feel like you're only allowed beer.
Spaces.
Yeah, you're allowed like beer or wine. I think people take a dim view even of a gin and tonic on a train.
Well, you can have the little cans of gin and tonic, unless you're Diane Abbott, in which case you have to be punished forever.
See, I can never do your job because you have such good recall. Like,
Well, I don't know about it's horrible though in a way. Quite often get readers saying to me, "Oh God, I hope you do other things," because I read every single horrible columnist. Like I have a Spectator subscription purely to see what they're
oh,
up to.
wow.
You know, like it's probably psychologically damaging.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. What you're doing to your liver with the Monster, you're doing to your brain with newspapers.
Well,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
drink it every day, and I don't drink more than one can in any given
No,
day
no
either. So
one's. No, I'm not. I'm not here to judge. I had
the
Malibu.
media consumption is far more damaging
Yeah.
at doses not recommended by health professionals.
So what has passed across your transom since 5:30 this morning?
Well, this morning I wrote a couple of days ago. I wrote a piece called "Exiting the Vampire's Palace" about this Prince Harry being on the Armchair Expert podcast, and the way that the tabloid press have well, the whole British media really have responded to that interview by claiming, oh, Prince Harry attacked the Queen's parenting and slagged off Prince Charles and stuff. Which, if you listen to that podcast, is very far from the case. It's not a bitter podcast. It's a guy talking about generational trauma and the notion that, you know, our parents do their best, but sometimes maybe they didn't do everything right, and that you're trying as a parent to do a bit better yourself, which is sort of very real. You know, Alan Rushbridger, the former Guardian editor, tweeted something about it last week, saying, you know, I wish the British press, when Prince Harry says something perfectly sensible, didn't go off on this sort of crazy rant. But the reason they do that is because what he was actually the bits that they haven't quoted as much or as extensively are the bits where he says, the most stressed I've been in my life was when my mother I was in a car with my mother being pursued by paparazzi. I think the British press, you know, my family has effectively this devil's deal with the British media. The way he talks about the fact that there's no real way to escape that. What they're on to today is saying, oh, he criticised the First Amendment, which he didn't. He sort of didn't. He just sort of said that some of the ways it's applied in America seem a bit crazy to him. But again, it's the way that this stuff is framed, and if you don't go back to the primary sources and the papers don't give you access to the primary sources, the general belief will be Prince Harry was on a podcast slagging off the Queen. So today's edition of the newsletter was a follow-up to that, and it's about two columnists in particular, Matthew Said and Sarah Vine, writing these columns yesterday, which was sort of like as if they were disappointed step-parents of Prince Harry, sort of telling a 36-year-old man what he can and can't say and shouldn't say and what he really meant. And so, yeah, the headline on that was a Dear Newspaper columnist, you're not Prince Harry's real dad. Obviously leaving myself open to many James Hewitt jokes, but I skip that one. But yeah, so that was today's. But over the past week or so, I've been writing a more in-depth and serious series, a 4-part series about a guy called John Kay, who was a chief reporter for The Sun. He died recently, and The Sun's obituary of him neglected in the first instance and in the printed version to mention that in 1977 he was convicted of manslaughter with diminished responsibility for the killing of his wife, Haru. They didn't name her, and they didn't even mention that had happened, or that he was his defense in court was paid for by The Sun, or that he was welcomed back less than 2 years later to The Sun's newsroom, where he worked, you know, for another 30 plus years. So it's really interesting, and what I've been trying to do with that series is show how this Japanese woman who was killed aged 27 was effectively airbrushed from history by The Sun and other people in Fleet Street. And it's continued. I mean, the Times' obituary, you know, took 10 paragraphs to mention her. And the way she was framed by all of these people in my industry is as a kind of speed bump in the career of an otherwise legendary tabloid hack. And when you actually look at the stories he broke, most of them boil down to someone rang him up and told him something, which is a far cry from a kind of Watergate or the Pentagon Papers.
He broke in at night, and
yeah. And I'm really quite tired of something that happens a lot in journalism, which is this kind of veneration of a period in time when journalism was pissed, quite racist, perverts, ruining other people's lives, which is then framed as amazing, talking truth to power. Journalists love to talk about speaking truth to power, but I'd say the percentage of stories published in the British media that would pass that threshold is under 2%, say. There is still some great investigative work in the Times, for instance, or in the Guardian very often, but it's the minority of the stuff produced. By no means the majority.
I mean, pissed, quite racist, perverts. I feel like I'm 2 out of 3. I'm on the way with the Malibu.
Yeah, I'm 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Race,
see what we can do. I'll get there. Don't worry, I'll get there.
70s style classic racism. I've yet to indulge in. One of Britain's great hobbies. But according to Oliver Dowden, the Culture Secretary, that's just me, doing down Great British history. So
yeah, please, why can't I be proud of my country? Oh, so many reasons. I really liked in your John Kay stuff that the fact that you sort of said it isn't so much about what happened with this manslaughter and stuff. It's the fact that the Sun historically has been extraordinarily unforgiving of other people who've committed such crimes.
It's not that they gave him his job back afterwards. Because I do believe in rehabilitation, of course, and I think it's really important. But the Sun one of the craziest things about the case thing is many years later, John Kay was the lead reporter on stories in the Sun when they were trying to get the killers of James Bulger their new names published. And they regularly pap people who have either been convicted of crimes and served their time, or people who were falsely accused of crimes, like Colin Stagg, who was falsely accused of crimes, massively abused by the press, and then they papped him and went, look, he spent all his all the money he got in compensation for this happening. And it's like, why? What public interest is there in going, here is a man that you haven't seen for a few years, he looks older and he has a job now because he spent the money, and then you go, there's no interest in that other than that you are once again getting your revenge on a man that you decide is worthy of getting revenge on for no reason.
Well, hopefully we've put ourselves squarely in the firing line with this. You never know.
Yes, well.
It's been such a treat to talk to you. I would love to have you on again at some point if you're up for it. This is just very coercive doing that publicly. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. But
no, I would say no. The reason I'm in journalism is because I'm a raging narcissist. So I'm
perfect. Perfect. Welcome. And if people want to subscribe, where should they go to?
Just go to brokenbottleboy.substack.com, or you can find the links if you go to my Twitter, which is also brokenbottleboy.
There you go. It's been lovely to talk to you. Thanks so much. Take care. Mike Wright.
This generation rules the nation. Sounds a bit fine thing. With verse. Music happened to be the food of love. Sounds to really make you rub and scrub. Ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 biddly bum. Bum 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 biddly 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 bum. I say, pass the dutchie on the left hand side. I say, pass the dutchie on the left hand side. He give me music, make me jump and prance. He give me music, make me rockin' at the dance.
Hello? Is this the Jake's Boats? Yeah?
Wow. Yes, it is. 07862032654 if you'd like to leave a voice message.
How do? Pablo here. Hello to Jake and Mick and the Apostles. Just a question for Mick, if I'm thinking I'm getting this right.
Oh, God damn it, I was too late, sorry.
But just being quite open with picking apart headlines and specific writers and journalists' work. Do you ever get any kind of blowback or kind of feedback? Do you think it's ever kind of negatively affected work, or are you quite specific in the kind of jobs that you take up?
That's a great
sorry
question.
if I completely misjudged this as a Q&A thing.
No, you did it right. I did it wrong. We'll ask him next time. Sorry, Pablo. Thanks. Barney says good morning. Everyone's watching on YouTube. Mr. Trebus, that was the guy's name. Mr. Trebus. Trebuchet. How the mind works. Hannah's watching. Her work network is down. So while on hold to IT, can have a sneaky watch. That's good. I know it's a very antisocial hour. I'm sorry about that. Darren says booze before noon always feels naughty. It does feel naughty, doesn't it? I mean, it's something to watch out for. Jane says that my drink makes a change from her first regular alcoholic tipple. Malibu and pineapple. Underage drinking at its worst. I got time for that. I got plenty of time for that. Rick says booze before noon says holiday to me. Julie says booze before noon says a day ending in Y to me. Not the question, just the letter. Darren says I once had a pint of Guinness at about 6 a.m. in a Dublin airport in advance of a boozy weekend away. It was glorious. I mean, it's good, but I think I've told the story before about Monday Club, which is this idea that I would drink, why have a hangover over your weekend? Do it on the company dime. So get drunk on a Monday night. And I did. This was in my 20s. It was hard. It's hard to work through the week. And then I discovered Monday Club was the name of a neo-Nazi organization and immediately disbanded it. And Nat says, nice to see Jacob all dressed up in his shirt for this momentous... Yes, I did. I put on the shirt. So there you go. Anyway. Look, Mike answered Pablo's question. Yes, I get lots of blowback and it 100% negatively affects work. So I mostly do freelancing for American outlets or magazines like The Big Issue. Wow. Horrendous. Anyway, lovely to have Mike there on the stream and in the podcast and everything. It's fantastic, that. And hello, how are you? I sort of wanted to get Mike on so that he didn't have to sit there listening to me talking in a slightly self-indulgent way. But, it's been a week since last we spoke, and it feels like a lifetime. I've only had, I think, about 2 weeks off in the 18 months or so that this podcast has been running. I went to France on a mowing holiday. Really just to get the grass cut. Thanks to Boris Johnson's dad's clause, I was able to go and do that. One man went to mow, not with his dog. I mean, just given the amount of paperwork involved simply for one man going to mow, taking a dog would have been a truly nightmarish thing to attempt. I rented a lawnmower. I found a shop, Brico Cash. They love it. So you could rent a lawnmower, for €30 for the day. I was like, that's a good idea. I'll do that then. So it arrived, and it had a few bits of dried grass on it because it's a rental lawnmower. What do you expect, That was fine. Did the mowing, just about. The mowing window was closing. I mean, it was pretty Herculean. Got all the mowing done. Took it back the next day. And I cleaned it out a bit. And the guy was like, can you, it's a bit dirty. I was like, okay. He's like, can you not clean it a bit more? I was like, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Went outside, had some garden gloves in the bongo, cleaned off all the grass and stuff, took it back. He was like, still a bit dirty, isn't it? Still a bit dirty. I was like, but it was kind of like, he was like, I'd be much happier if you pressure washed it. Have you not got a pressure washer? I was like, no, I haven't got a pressure washer. I'd really like you to pressure wash it. I was like, okay. So loaded it back into the van, drove around, found a garage that had, those pressure washers like for cars to wash your car. But I only had €1. It was my €1 to put in shopping trolleys. I had €1 worth of pressure washing that I could do, which it turns out is not a lot. So I managed to basically get it done, and it was done, and it was clean. And I had to fill it up with petrol, which he hadn't expected me. Took it back. And I was like, here you go. Here it is. He was like, Look at that green. There's like a green bit on the bottom, like a very faint green. You know when it's like, it's not grass, it's just green dye. It's just puree. Like it's juice of grass. Tiny bit. He was like, what, have you got anything to wipe with? Why couldn't you wipe that? Have you not got anything to wipe with? And I went, yep. And this is in front of other customers. Wiped off this last little offending small green part. And went back and I was like, is it perfect? Are you happy? Can I go now? This was all in French. And he was like, yes, it's fine. Because finally he realized that the customers were staring at him like, who is this guy? And I was like, can I do anything else while I'm here? Why don't I wipe your shoes down? And he was like, oh, no, it's fine. Thank you. I was like, are you sure you're happy? Because I want to make sure and I said, I can guarantee your happiness because I'm never going to be coming here again. So, that was that. Oh, it is Mick. It's not Mike. I'm sorry, Mick. Oh, God. Just catching up on the chat there. Mick Wright. I suck. How do you get that so wrong? A lifetime of broadcasting. MIC is generally pronounced. Anyway, I apologize, Mick. I suck. Anyway, that's what I've been getting up to. And then self-isolating. Last week was a knock at the door. Guy goes, hello, is this you? And he holds up his phone. It's got my name on it. I was like, yes. He's like, all right, it's NHS test and trace. You self-isolating? Like, yes. Like, good, okay. Can we help you with anything? I was like, no. And that was a bit scary. But it's good to know, isn't it? It's good to know. Good to know that they're doing that. Anyway. I think we could have some emails. We've got some emails from you. Don't forget, tomorrow we need to choose a news story or cultural thing to talk about, to make a musical about. But we've got this from Neil. Hello, Mr. Jake. It's been a while. There was this whole thing, probably seen it on the news, terrible business. Still, they were doing their best. Anyway, I dove back into the podcast today, was immediately reminded of a similarly combative theatrical arts teacher moment from school. Oh yeah, I was talking about my drama teacher. This was like a month ago. We were, I believe, creating some kind of music and drama event concerning that's not my burnt lips, that's me attempting to pronounce So not a comedy. And as a class, I think we were being kept late whilst we got to grips with it. I don't know if we ever did, but that's beside the point. One of my classmates, Simon, had a particularly miserable demeanour at the best of times, and it wasn't being made any better by the fact that the delay in leaving would severely upset his already convoluted journey home. Our teacher, whose name I'm afraid I cannot recall, probably for the best, was rather frantically trying to wrangle a class load of unenthusiastic actors. Finally, she reached her limit and snapped the following, which has stuck in my mind for years. Mainly because it always felt like absolutely the worst solution to the problem. Simon, if you don't cheer up, I'll put you in detention. I don't think it worked. Anyway, hope you and all the Yaplingtons are well. All the best. Neil, this one, not that one. Thanks very much. It's not today at swanburst.com. Hedy says, Dear Jape, have you, always the thrill of anticipation when I get something from Hedy, have you noticed that a certain ovoid-shaped hollow chocolate that contains a toy, I'm with you, has representations of smiling, blue-eyed and blonde-haired children with the obvious traits of the so-called Aryan race? I have. Yeah. That brand is pretty Teutonic, isn't it? The name Kinder Egg is obviously German, all very strange. My suspicions were finally confirmed when I broke one open and discovered a miniature Panzer IV inside. For legal reasons, no he didn't. P.S. The ice lollies I purchased from a well-known supermarket chain disappointingly did not have a joke traditionally inscribed on the stick, so I decided to amend that situation. See picture. Here we go. Why did the chicken go to the seance? What did the 0 say to the 8? What does Charles Dickens keep in his Spear Act apartment? I don't know. Why should you not say 2882? And what do you call a fake noodle? Very good. I can't remember the answers to any of those jokes, but I hope you enjoyed the setup. Let's have an actual dad joke from Neil. Question, what do you call a man with a seagull on his head? Answer, runner-up in the How Many Seagulls Can You Get on Your Head competition. The winner managed 2. That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that. Okay. Well, it's been a morning. It's like a crepe. First is the worst. And we did it. We got through it. That's a relief. I'm happy about that. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a think about what you'd like a musical made of. You can, When Teachers Snap, Pablo suggests on YouTube. Hashtag When Teachers Snap. I'd love that. You can email nottoday@swanburst.com. You can tweet at nottodaypod. I should probably check that before I go. Or you can put a comment in the YouTube chat at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's it. It's over. We did it. Thank God. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, 07862 032 654 is the number to call. I mean, not call. That's a dumb thing to say. Don't call it. I'll just be like, who's this? I'm not answering that. But something on WhatsApp. 07862 032 654. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This has been a Swanburst Media production.